The evening Lee returned, the air felt strangely heavy, as if the world itself sensed something he had yet to learn. He walked into the small house, expecting the warmth of Tusam's smile, the softness of her voice calling his name. Instead, he found her quietly arranging flowers on the table, her movements delicate but distant. "Sam," he called gently. She looked up startled and forced a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "You're home early," she said, her tone light, too light. Lee's heart tightened. He knew her well enough to feel every shift in her mood. Something was off. Later that evening, while he stepped outside to check the garden, their neighbor, Mrs. Lan, waved at him with a knowing grin. "I saw Sam in town yesterday. She was with a young man, handsome one too, looked important." Lee froze. The words struck like a blade, slicing through his chest. He tried to shake it off, tried to laugh it away, but the image he had never seen suddenly burned into his mind. Sam walking beside another man, smiling, talking, close. His steps grew heavier as he returned inside. Sam had just placed her phone on the cable and walked to the kitchen. A soft vibration lit up the screen. Lee didn't mean to look, but his eyes caught the name, Ain Khwa. A message popped up. "Did you get home safely? I hope Lee doesn't worry." Lee's blood ran cold. His breath caught. His heart pounded. Something inside him twisted violently. Fear, anger, pain, all tangled into one unbearable knot. He stared at the glowing screen, feeling the world begin to tilt. And for the first time since he had met her, Lee felt the terrifying thought forming in his mind. Had he lost Sam without even realizing it? Lee's chest tightened as he sat alone on the edge of the bed, the message still burning in his mind like fire. "I hope Lee doesn't worry." Why would another man talk like that? Why would he care whether Lee was worried, unless he had a reason to? The thought was poison. Sam walked into the room holding a cup of warm ginger tea. "You should drink this," she said softly. "You look tired." He took it from her, but his hand trembled. "Tired, huh?" His voice came out colder than he intended, or maybe just confused. She blinked in surprise. "What do you mean?" Lee placed the cup down and looked straight into her eyes, dark, gentle, and now filled with worry. "I heard you were in town yesterday, with a man, a young one." Sam's breath hitched just for a second. It was tiny, almost invisible, but Lee saw it. He felt it, and jealousy roared inside him like a storm. "Lee," she whispered, "let me explain." But he was already drowning. "Explain what? Why another man is messaging you? Why he knows when you come home? Why he thinks I might worry?" His voice rose, each word trembling with the weight of emotion. Sam stepped closer, her eyes already glistening. "It's not what you think." But Lee stepped back. He didn't want to. He hated himself for doing it, but his chest hurt too much. All he could see was her smile and another man standing next to her. "Sam, tell me the truth," he said, voice cracking. "Are you seeing him?" Her eyes widened, wounded. "No, Lee, never. How could you think that? That's not—" "Then why didn't you tell me?" His voice was almost a whisper now, raw. Silence filled the room, thick and painful. Sam looked away, only for a second, but to Lee it felt like an eternity. And in that moment, jealousy, fear, and insecurity crushed him all at once. He felt like the ground beneath him had begun to break. "Sam," he said,
voice trembling as he fought to breathe. "Please, don't lie to me." Her tears fell, and Lee's heart shattered, unsure whether the tears meant guilt or heartbreak.
For a long moment, Sam didn't speak. She wiped her tears with the back of her trembling hand, trying to catch her breath. Lee stood frozen, every muscle tight with fear. Fear of losing her, fear of hearing the wrong answer, fear of the truth. Finally, she whispered, "Lee, look at me." He didn't want to. He didn't trust himself. But slowly, painfully, he lifted his eyes. Sam stepped closer, placing her small hand over his clenched fist. "The man you're talking about? His name is Min. He's not someone I'm seeing." She swallowed. "He's my cousin." Lee's breath stopped. "Cousin?" She nodded, tears still clinging to her lashes. "I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to worry. You just came back. You've been tired, stressed, afraid of losing everything. I didn't want to add more pressure." Lee blinked, stunned. The jealousy inside him collapsed like a burned-out flame. Sam, I didn't know. I thought—" She cut him off gently. "I know what you thought. I saw it in your eyes. You were hurting." Lee felt the words pierce through his chest. "And yes," she continued softly, "I did hide that, and I shouldn't have. That's my fault. But I swear to you, Lee, you're the only man I love. You're the only one I'm waiting for. No one else." His shoulders shook. All the anger, the jealousy, the fear, everything began to dissolve. He reached for her hand slowly, as if asking permission. "Sam, I was terrified. When I heard you were with someone else, I felt like I was disappearing, like I was no longer important to you." Sam's face softened with heartbreak. "Oh, Lee." She cupped his face with both hands, her thumbs brushing over his cheekbones. "You are the most important person in my life. How could I ever replace you?" Lee leaned into her touch, eyes closing as relief washed over him like warmth after a long winter. "I'm sorry," he murmured, "for doubting you, for letting jealousy control me." She shook her head. "No, I'm sorry for hiding things. Love needs honesty, and I promise I won't keep anything from you again." Lee opened his eyes, gazing into hers. "So, we're okay?" Sam smiled through her tears, soft and gentle. "We're okay if you still want us to be." He pulled her into his arms then, tightly, protectively. "Sam," he whispered into her hair, "I don't just want us, I need us." Her arms wrapped around him, warm and steady, grounding him back into the world. And for the first time since the jealousy had consumed him, Lee felt his heart settle, finally knowing the truth and finally holding the woman he feared losing. The storm inside Lee had finally calmed, but a quiet vulnerability still lingered in his eyes. Sam felt it. She could feel his heartbeat against her cheek, uneven, insecure, terrified of losing her even now. She pulled back slightly and held his face with both hands. "Lee," she said softly, "don't hurt yourself with your own thoughts. If you ever feel jealous, tell me. Don't carry it alone." He lowered his gaze, ashamed. "I was afraid you'd think I was childish or weak." Loving someone deeply isn't weakness, it's human. Sam swallowed hard. Something in her voice, tender, warm, completely honest, made his chest tighten again, this time not with jealousy, but with love. He took her hands in his, squeezing gently as if anchoring himself to her. "Sam," he began, voice rough, "I know I overreacted, and I know I doubted you, but that's because you mean more to me than anyone else in this world. When I thought another man had a place in your life, even for a moment, it felt like someone was ripping you out of my hands."
Sam felt her heart tremble. He continued, I don't ever want to feel that again. So I'm promising you this. I'll trust you, I'll listen first, and I'll never let jealousy ruin what we're trying to build. A soft smile touched her lips. Then I'll promise you something too. I'll never leave you guessing again. No more secrets, no more misunderstandings. Lee let out a small, shaky laugh. Look at us, making promises like we're already married. Her cheeks turned pink, but she didn't look away. Maybe one day. Those words hit him harder than any punch he'd ever taken. Sam? His voice softened to a whisper. One day, I'll make that happen, I swear. For a moment, they simply stared at each other. Two people who had nearly torn themselves apart through fear and jealousy, now finding their way back through honesty and love. Lee brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, his fingers lingering on her cheek. So we start again? He asked, quietly. Sam nodded. We start again, but this time stronger. He leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss to her forehead, an apology, a promise, and a beginning all at once. When she wrapped her arms around his waist, he held her even tighter than before, as if trying to make up for all the moments he had doubted her. And in that small room, with the late afternoon lights spilling through the window, Lee realized something. He wasn't just afraid of losing her. He was afraid because he loved her so much it made him human in a way he had never been before. And to Sam, she held him like she finally understood that even the strongest man in the world could break if the woman he loved walked away. They stayed like that, wrapped in each other, ready to move forward with fewer fears, and a love that had survived even the sharp edge of jealousy.